Hello there, and welcome to another Starfield video. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Mammoth. It's a ship that I made on stream last weekend. Plugging the stream if you guys would like to watch me play Starfield. I stream Fridays and Saturdays. 7:30 p.m. GMT Fridays and 10 p.m. GMT Saturdays. But anyway, so I was building this ship and I got a lot of assistance from some of you guys in the chat. And yeah, I really liked how this turned out. See, originally, let me see if I have one. Originally, it was based on this ship because I had made this ship, and I was trying to basically make a kind of like a modified version of the Crimson Fleet Banshee to make it like a turret base. And I started to kind of play around with, you'll see here, those like side kind of pontoon pieces. I was like trying to play around with them, and then I kind of came up with this idea of like a kind of cool little ship. So the lore behind this ship is this was originally designed as a kind of a heavy lift / hauling vessel when the kind of like back when humanity first kind of, you know, reached down to the stars. So it's a very old vessel. It's been retrofitted a little bit because the original vessel didn't have so many weapons. This is kind of another one of these kind of like hero ship style, you know, ships I've been kind of messing around with, you know, where like a character finds one and turns it into their own kind of personal base. It's a pretty competent vessel, I will say. It's very tanky. It's like 2 off of max, or it might be max. It might have maximum everything. So I think it's been a long time since I've built a ship that hit the max limit, and the fact that this has absolutely everything, it's kind of stocked to the gills. So it was a tricky build. I will have to say, shout out to Sadir and Nomad. They kind of helped me with some of the stuff. The engines at the top, trying to kind of get them to play nice was a bit tricky, which we'll kind of see in a minute when we get to that point. Anyway, so if we look at the stats, it's got a fuel of 400, which is pretty decent. Obviously, like kind of lore-wise, this is kind of just meant to lift heavy things into orbit. It's not really meant to, you know, go too far. That's why like it doesn't have a mad amount of fuel. But obviously, you know, fuel's kind of irrelevant in this game to an extent. It's got a hull of 1545, which is, you know, that's usually that kind of the baseline for these big C-class vessels. Cargo capacity of 6,080, which is really nice. It's got a C-Class reactor with 40 power. It's got a crew of 10, which, again, is quite nice. It kind of fits into the idea of this being a really large ship. It's got a jump range of 28 light years, which is really good, considering that, you know, it's a jump range ship. It's got a shield of 1,600. It's got 3 sets of weapons. It's got 3 lasers that are hidden underneath that, like, kind of engine block. And then it's got 2 sets of particle turrets. Some C-class particles scattered to the front and back, and then some B-classes with kind of more focus on the back. So if you're going to want to make this, it's probably going to cost you around 600 to 700k, and it uses some merging. So yeah, let's check it out, shall we? So one of the hardest parts of the ship to build was I wanted to, which we'll show you real quick. So you see here, I made this like section that was cut out. And ideally what I wanted to do there is I wanted to have like an engine that like almost would pivot down. Now, obviously we don't have any VTOL style engines in the game, but the kind of the lore behind it would be that those big engines there at the top would rotate down like a kind of a Harrier or something, and they could be used to land the vessel. And obviously these landing gear here are just kind of because, you know, in a perfect world, they'd all kind of work together. You know, these would be kind of more like maneuvering thrusters, where it's kind of big, bulky thrusters. Yeah, the engine part was kind of the trickiest just because it makes use of a merge technique that I'm not too familiar with, which we'll check out. Now, obviously, one of the things is, sadly, we don't have a whole lot of pieces left over because I would have liked to put some pieces in here just to smooth this out. Maybe some windows. At the back here, we got a nice little section here, just a little tail, some engine. Again, I would have liked some more pieces, but we hit the limit. And it turned out nice. So in we go. We got a lot of stuff inside that we're going to check out. We got my whole crew here. What up, Gary? What up, Simeon and Cora? So in we go. Now I modified it a little bit since on stream, because on stream, I'll show you real quick. So immediately here we've got a control station for the crew. Pretty nice. And if we head this way, we've got a cargo bay. Now this, originally this was going to be an empty mess hall. I'm going to customize it, but for the purpose of this build, I kind of wanted to, or for the purpose of the review, I wanted to make it more akin to, you know, like its default, which would be the cargo hauler. You know, it carries a lot of cargo, so we got a lot of cargo here. And then if we head back through this way by Gary, hello Gary. We keep going this way. We have an infirmary for the crew. And then over here we have all-in-one no, this is a living quarters. We've got living quarters here. And then over the other side we have another living quarters. 2 living quarters. This one doesn't have any beds though, because the ships are, for some reason, they can't they don't what would the word, they're not parallel, symmetrical, there we go, that's the word. And then if we come down here, we drop down here, we have a workshop with a docking port. And then if we head this way, we also have a computer core that is going to be the bedroom when I get around to fixing it. I really like this. This is a good suggestion in the chat to use this as a living quarters, because it looks very, very cool. And you have this kind of area here where I can just imagine, like, you know, like you have some kind of a proper, like a warship. You got 2 guards just always stationed here, protecting, you know, the captain when he's sleeping. So yeah, let's go back up and let's check out the bridge, or the cockpit. I quite like the layout of the cockpit. Obviously, we're using this big boy. There's a bit of merging there, but it's not a huge issue. It kind of looks okay. Doesn't really mess with much. But I like how it fits. It sits right at the front. It kind of gives me like ferry vibes, or like a freighter. All right, so let's take her off. Now this thing, she a very heavy boy. Or girl. We don't discriminate. Excuse me. Just taking a drink of my monster. We need all the energy we can building this. So yeah, so real quick, one thing I will note that's thankfully, thanks to Mr. Michael and Nolgroth, that I was not aware of. So with your turrets, in general, you don't need to give them very much pips, because the magazine, they don't affect the magazine or like the ammo. Obviously, if they get damaged, you'll have to obviously give it a little bit more pips. But anyway, so weapon-wise, we've got our lasers mounted at the front there. And then we've got our 2 particles turrets setups, and they have very good degrees of fire. So speed-wise, it's going to have a speed of 130, because we're using those big C-class engines. Boost speed's probably going to be around, what, like 420 usually? Oh no, 450, not bad. Little agility test. She's kind of agile, but not extremely agile. A little, the yaw. Oh, she's very slow on the yaw. Very slow. And then, all right, so let's head down to the planet, and we'll do a little teardown, shall we? All right, so we've got the ship split into a couple of sections. So what we're gonna do is, the engines are kind of the trickier part. So we'll look at them at the end, just because it requires a bit of fiddling. So the top layer of the vessel here consists of, we've got a Kontiki B6000 bridge from Stroud Eklund, 380 cargo, 6 crew. And then behind that we have this kind of pattern here with the tile, which I'll show you. Oh, whoops. Okay. Lovely. So basically what we have here is we have 2 tile mid caps that are basically on top of one another. You can see them there. They're basically merged on top of one another. I'm going to really quickly, I will delete something very quickly, we'll highlight the engine and delete all that real quick, just to show you how I kind of did this. So this is just a simple, you just have to drop it down. I'm going to grab one of these. So you just basically highlight, highlight, and then you just drop it down. Like that. And then you basically have this piece here. You just highlight both of them and it slots in like so. Now let me bring back my engines because I kind of need them. Cool. So yeah, so we've got that pattern there, and then behind it we have a Stroud mid bracer. On top of that, we have an Assurance SG 1800 shield generator from Sexton Shield Systems, C-Class, 12 power, 1600 shield. We've got another 2 of these tile mid caps here and here. And then we have another Stroud mid bracer, and then 2 more tile mid caps here and here, the setup, and then we've got 2 Deimos Spine A's there. And a Deimos Spine A there. Now, weapon here, this is our kind of primary weapon, our only fixed weapon. So mounted on a equipment plate, we've got a Reza 300 PHC SX laser from Shinigami, C-Class, 1040 range, 1.5 fire rate, 63 shield damage, and 4 power. So this is basically 3 of them merged on top of one another. You just basically do the drop-down technique to drop them down on top of one another, and then you just slot this into place. Go back. Perfect. Now, for these sections here, so this consists, the front section, we've got 6 of these Hope Tech Cap A's. We've got 2 starboard mids, 2 port mids, and then we have a port 4 and a starboard 4. Now, merged inside here, we have 2 Stroud engine bracers, B's, 2 equipment plates, and then we have some Disruptor 3340A auto alpha turrets from Horizon Defense, C-Class, 4550 range, 4 fire rate, 19 hull and shield damage, and 3 power. And then you would just slot these in first, and then you would just basically do the flip technique to get these in like so. Put them back in there. And then on the back, it's pretty much the same thing. We've got, this time we've got 3 starboard mid caps and 3 port mid caps, and then 2 of the aft caps. And then same again, having these mounted here. And then on the back here, we just have 2 of our 4 Disruptor 3320 neutron turrets, Horizon Defense, B-Class, 4550 range, 2.5 fire rate, 34.8 hull and shield damage, and 3 power. And then just to confirm, like I said, I'll do the engines in a minute, but the other 2 weapons would mount there. The third level, or the main body. At the front here, we've got a Stroud cargo hull 2x3, Stroud control station 2x1, a companionway 1x1, an infirmary 3x1, and then 2 living quarter 2x1s. Now, you can kind of assign this whatever way you want. And then we've got 4 Stroud mid bracers there and there and there and there. They're just there because we're using some of these merged wings, which we'll get to in a minute. The front here, we've got 3 Hope Tech A noses, port, starboard 4. At the back here, we have this Stroud mid bracer. Now, the reason this is lifted up is because this is the fuel engine and the reactor, or the fuel reactor and grav drive is going to merge in here, and this piece is going to sit on top of it. At the back here, we've got 2 Stroud Cap Bs. And then we have let me show you real quick. We have a Hope Tech radiator there. It's merged in there. And then we have this piece that is just a simple drop down. I'm going to really quickly show you. Just going to delete these to show you a little how we drop it down. So this piece, you basically just highlight it up. Oh, we got to go up one more apparently. But, and then you drop it down once. And then once it's dropped down like there, we're just going to basically proper drop down, highlight it, and there we go, just like that. Now let me put that all back. This is kind of tricky. I will say it's a bit tricky when you don't have access, like when you basically are at the max limit. There we go, perfect. Now the outside pieces, so these mirror one another. So we've got 2 wing Ds, 1 port, 1 starboard on each side. And then we have 2 wing Cs, 1 port, 1 starboard on each side. We've got 4 wing As, 2 inside, 2 outside. You can see there's the wing As. So these ones just snap as is, like so. These ones you have to bring them in and do the flip technique like that. And then on the other side, it's basically just duplicating it. So 2 more wing A's, 2 outside, 2 inside. 2 more wing C's outside and inside, and then 2 wing D's. And then these pieces, so what you want to do is you put these in first, your landing gear little flip technique that we're using the Hope 55 landing gear from Hope Tech for thrust. Put them in, and then you just basically would do the flip technique. Whoops. Hello, where did you go? Okay, so you can do, there's multiple ways. So that's all you'd have to do. So basically you can just get it in, flip it a little bit, and then highlight all, and then it will snap to it. And then same again, highlight all, snap to it, like there. Bob is your auntie. Bottom level here, we have our 120 LD landing bay from Deimos. We have our Stroud Workshop 2x1, our Deimos computer core empty. We've got our J52 Gamma Grav Drive, our 700T Helium-3 tank, and our Pinch 8C reactor, as well as a mid-bracer. So these are just simple. You just basically, we're going to do the drop-down technique. I'm going to really quickly, just for the sake of it, we're going to remove these so I can do a little drop-down. So you've got these pieces here. We'll start with the fuel tank, and then we're going to drop down this on top of the fuel tank. And then you just highlight it. I've done this many times before. Just basically highlight it, drop it down. Now, obviously, it's going to not want to play nice. So I'll just show you how to drop down one of them. Like I said, I've covered this in another video. If you want to watch that video, you can kind of see... Oh, whoops, nope. Perfect. So as you can see there, that has dropped them down there, and then you would just do the exact same thing with the reactor. You just basically drop them all down till they're, hold on now. Drop them all down so that they're all on top of one another. I'll show you now. Bum, 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 bum. There you go, perfect. So all three of them are on top of one another, and then you'll also see that we have a Stroud mid-bracer there. Now, that's pretty simple to get in. You just slap it underneath, and then there's no pieces. Lovely. Let me just delete these. And then you just basically would do the technique to push it up. So we're gonna do the technique. Oh my god, this, I do apologize. It's a bit tricky when we don't have access to everything. So this just duplicate it up like that. Perfect. And that's just to basically kind of like, so it's hidden. Let me put that back. Bump, 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 bump. There you go. Perfect. Okay, cool. So now on the outside here, so we've got two Stroud Cap A's here. And then we've got 2 of 6 Galleon S203 cargo holds, 950 cargo. Protector system, so we've got 2 here. On the bottom, we've got a 100 DP slim docker just on the bottom of the workshop. 2 more of those cargos, and then 2 more, that means 6. And then we have 2 ACU 11 landing gear from Stroud Eklund, 2 thrust each. And then we have a Deimos belly aft, and we have 2 of these Stroud Cap A's. These are just kind of flipped in place. So you just... what you do is, nope, they're going to, lovely. So what you do is you just slot them in like so, and then you just do a little flip technique. You just drop these down, like before. Let me really quickly drop them down just to kind of highlight. There you go, and they just drop down like that. Perfect. Now that's the basis of the ship, so now we're gonna kind of get to the engine. So we're gonna put it all back together real quick. So one of the first things I'm gonna really quickly show you. So these, let me grab these real quick. We'll move these. We'll highlight all these. Right. Okay. Perfect. Bum, bum, bum. So the reason these pieces here are yellow is because these pieces sit on top of them. So I'll show you real quick. So this piece sits there. This piece sits there. This piece also hides the shield generator. And then we have our two turrets there and there. Right, so to do the engines consist of, I'm going to break them down into individual pieces. I'll show you. So this is what the engine consists of. Just for the sake of merging, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete some of these bottom sections just to kind of show you, because we're going to need to do some extensive merging. Oh, there we go, perfect. Okay. So yes, the engine consists of, we have two of these Supernova 220s. We have a Nova Bracer. We have a Tayo side cap port, two of these Tayo braking engines, and then the forward sensor. So what we're going to do is we just slot, this piece is going to kind of be the connection point. And we do is actually, I mean, it doesn't have to be, all right, so what we'll do first of all, so you connect this piece here like so. And then you snap these pieces inside like so. These just kind of flip technique. You gotta be careful with these ones, make sure that they're connected. Because sometimes, as you see there, you know, let me just show you that again. So when I went to put this one in first, it's off-centered slightly and I have to basically readjust it. And then we want to put this piece here and then this other engine, this just kind of sits in there. So what you do to get this is you basically just highlight it and let go of it. And then, wait a minute. Let's just sit here. Okay, so apparently this is not as tricky as I thought. So when I did this before, it looked a bit more finicky. So we don't actually even need these Nova Bracers. So all you want to do is, basically these are going to snap in here like so. Let me just highlight a piece. So they're going to snap there, but obviously they're going to have problems snapping there. So what we're going to do is we're going to get them to snap there, we're going to move this piece and then they should snap in. There you go, perfect. And then the same with the other one. The other one's going to snap in again like so. They just snap there. And then finally, just going to flip that piece there. And then return. Now, obviously, we're missing a little stuff because I cut the bottom, so we're just gonna. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I did say this was really tricky to build initially, but I think what happened is when I was building it, I had it kind of set up a little different. I want to say it was like lower. These pieces were lower, and I think it just kind of fixed itself. But yeah, that's the Mammoth. It's, like I said, it's the biggest ship I've made so far when it comes to piece-wise. I think it's a really cool ship. I think it looks awesome, but obviously I might be biased because I built it. I'm going to play around with it a little bit and kind of customize the interior. Like I said, I have a different interior. I didn't want to just have an empty interior for this review just because it'd look a bit funny. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. It was a really, really cool ship to build. And if like I said again, if you're interested in watching me, I stream Starfield, and usually I'm just kind of running around exploring planets, doing some quests, and then towards the end of the stream, I like to build some ships and get ideas from you guys. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy this build. Let me know what you think of the vessel, and also let me know what your biggest ship you built. What was the name of it, and what was the purpose? As always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this sort of content, and catch you in the next one.